All right, let's step back in time for a minute. We're going to use a vintage boys magazine to figure out what the ideal hero looked like, right on the edge of World War I. So what did it even mean to be a hero in 1912? Let's dive in and find out.
So picture this. It's 1912. The British Empire is at the absolute height of its power. There's this feeling of incredible confidence in the air. You know, with all these new technologies like aeroplanes, it really felt like a golden age. And that was especially true if you were a boy reading adventure magazines, which were just packed with these incredible stories of bravery and glory.
So where are we getting all this from? Well, our main source today is a 1912 volume of a magazine called The Captain, a magazine for boys and old boys. And listen, this wasn't just for fun. This was practically a character-building manual. It was filled with stories that laid out exactly what it meant to be a hero in the modern British Empire.
And the guy leading us through this world is one of its most popular writers, Percy F. Westerman. This man was a machine. He wrote tons of these stories. So we're going to use 3 of his short stories, all from this one 1912 magazine, to build a kind of profile of the perfect Edwardian hero.
So, what did this hero actually look like? Well, what's fascinating about Westerman's stories is that even though the main characters have different names and are in different situations, they all follow this single, powerful archetype. This was the blueprint for what every young man in the Empire was supposed to strive to be.
All right, let's meet the main players. Jock Demock, Jack Devereaux, and Harry Armitage. As you can see, different names, but they're all cut from the same cloth. And this was no accident. It was a very intentional model of heroism, built on this foundation of duty, ambition, and just pure, simple courage.
First up, we've got Jock Demock. He's given a mission that's basically suicide. Swim 5 miles up a river controlled by the enemy to save a city. And his response? There's no fear, no hesitation. It's just a simple, "I've faith, I'll do my best, sir." I mean, that's the sound of pure, unquestioning duty right there. Then there's Jack Devereaux. He's a war correspondent, and this guy is relentless. After he saves a rival reporter's life, he's still laser-focused on getting his story out first. As he says, personal feelings just don't matter when your reputation is on the line. For this kind of hero, personal glory and doing your duty were pretty much the same thing.
And finally, meet Harry Armitage and Jack Standish. These guys are just ordinary guys out on their yacht. They hear some trouble, and their immediate reaction is to go confront a gang of armed criminals. There's no debate, no we should probably call the police. Just instant, absolute courage. The simple phrase, "I'm with you," is all it takes to jump into action.
So you get the idea of the kind of guy we're dealing with here. But what sort of missions were they facing? Well, there was no moral ambiguity, no deep inner conflict. The challenges were always crystal clear, they were direct, and the stakes were always incredibly high, as you're about to see.
Okay, check this out. This table really breaks it all down. Notice how different the settings are. You've got a historical siege from the 1600s, then modern-day Morocco. But the structure? It's identical every time. There's a clear mission, and there's a clear bad guy. In this world, there are absolutely no shades of gray. Just good guys, bad guys, and a job that has to be done.
And this really gets to the heart of it. These weren't just thrilling adventure stories. They were, for all intents and purposes, instruction manuals. They were designed to teach the specific values you'd need to go out and run the British Empire, shaping the minds of its future leaders, its soldiers, its administrators. So you have to ask, right? What exactly were these boys being taught? What was the moral code that was baked into every single one of these tales of action and heroism?
It all boiled down to this hero's code. Duty was always more important than your own safety. Being clever under pressure was an absolute must, and courage, especially when you were outnumbered, that was just a given. But maybe the biggest lesson of all was this unwavering belief in individual action, the idea that one brave person, acting decisively, could literally change the course of history.
And here's where the story takes a turn. You have to understand that these stories weren't just fantasies. They were seen as a form of preparation. They were building up a specific vision of heroism for a world that, completely unknown to these boys in 1912, was about to vanish forever. I mean, just look at this timeline. It's stark. In 1912, boys are reading about heroes who can single-handedly win a battle through one act of bravery. Just 2 years later, that exact same generation is going to find itself stuck in the trenches of the First World War. The whiplash is almost unimaginable. All those ideals of individual daring, of the heroic charge winning the day,
They were about to run headfirst into the cold, industrial reality of machine guns, massive artillery bombardments, and anonymous death on a massive scale. The simple black-and-white heroism from Percy Westerman's stories was about to face a war that was anything but simple.
And you know, that really leaves us with a question for today, doesn't it? We live in an age of complicated, flawed, morally gray antiheroes. So looking back, is there something valuable we might have lost from this older, simpler vision of heroism? Or was that straightforward, confident ideal always just a fantasy, one that was destined to shatter the second it hit the real world?
This is for entertainment and educational purposes only.